Chrome extension for Oracle Netsuite. Netsuite helper for your works. It's kind of a previous gen extension. So let's see what it does. This extension essentially works based on subscript 1.0. That's why I say it's a previous gen. So now let's look at each of the features this extension can offer. So when I click on this extension, it basically gives a list of hyperlinked functions that it can perform. So there are two ways to execute this extension functionality. One, you can pin that particular extension at the top in your browser, and then you can click on these functions, which will essentially take you to the respective function based on the hyperlink that you click. So let's try this one also. So yeah, it just takes you to the home page of that particular record group. So the other way to execute this function, some of these functions are record specific rather than generic redirection function. So for example, login page, go to home, get company ID, go to a transaction, these kind of general functions you can execute from anywhere. So let's just do those then before we go into a transaction specific or record specific function. So I'll just click get company ID. So it basically provides this nothing but a URL. So I think once upon a time, I think like if you are in Netsuite for like 3-4 years already, you might know that this account specific URL is something of new logic that Netsuite added. Before that, it was just that system.netsuite.com, not with a specific instance ID. So in that case, if you have to get this ID, then you have to go to setup company information and go and get it. But now that's not required. You can just grab it from URL. But anyways, this extension do provide the way to get this with a click. It used to be helpful. So the next option is go to a transaction of current environment. So if you remember some transaction internal ID either from scripting or from some debugging, you just want to get to the transaction without navigating here and there, then the simple way is you click on this link. What it essentially does is it has a prefix of the transaction page URL and then just add the internal ID to it as a suffix. So it basically redirects to a transaction page. I'll just key in some internal ID of a transaction. Once I key in, as you can see in the URL, what script of this extension does is it stores this particular URL in Netsuite of the extension. So this is the internal ID that's passed as a parameter from this particular function of button click go to a transaction. So now that we are in the record, let's look at some of the functions it can perform. So here some of the functions what it have, it provides insert value, enable or disable a field, and few options. And better way to understand this is if you right click the record. Also this extension provides these options in your right click. You can able to see a little more details in here, what functions and in which context it will work. So for example, if you want to get a value of this particular field in view page, it will work. But if you want to yeah, you can see the values there. You can just see Control C and copy. And if you just want to set the value of a particular field, it says only in edit page it will work. But anyways, I'm going to try in view page view mode. Yeah, it just doesn't work. So I'll edit. So now why would I want to use this function set field value? Not necessarily for the field that is something I can set in the that I can see as editable field. Maybe if there are some fields that are controlled by workflows or client script, which you want to temporarily disable it using any quick way, then this extension can help. For example, we have one particular field here which is basically disabled using some automation in client side. So if I just want to code and enable the field, it will allow me to make this field editable. But before we do that, without enabling a field, I just want to set some field value. So I'll click set field value. So okay, let's just say right click set field value. I can just say test. Okay, it still stores in this. Okay, let's just say this one set field value. Obviously it will work when you click on the field label and then right click and choose the function. So I'll just say some random notes. Yeah, you can see these values are set. Now when you save the record, obviously these values should save as long as it's a store value field. So now the second option that this extension offers in UI is like enable field, which instead of just setting the value in the disabled field, you can just enable the field, which will take out this gray color and make it editable. So once I do that, you can see the field becomes editable in nature. So now, yes, I can just go ahead and type whatever the things I need to. So these are some of the inputs that this extension offer. Then also it has a function like disable a field, disable it back. Why you might want to use it, that's something of a question. But setting field mandatory, again, it's a temporary function. What does it mean temporary is until you save the record, whatever this option that you do in before load, those functions are preserved. Once you save the record or refresh a page, whatever these temporary options that you did, um, it won't be part of that record anymore. So that's some of these function it can offer. um, then the next option is override field value. It will modify the record. Again, it's essentially same like set field value, but I believe it must work on the view mode. Let's see. Let's cancel this. So I just want to change it to just a remarks. Let's see if it will override this. Yep, it brings this. I'll just say remark and then hit enter. Let's see. Done. Do you want to reload the page? It seems it set the value. It is asking me should I refresh the page. Yes. Oh, here you can see that value has been set. Let's just let's just see in the system notes out of curiosity what is the context. It just still says UI. It just essentially without editing the record, you just right click and then set field value to override. These are some of the functions which offers in the record level. Then it also offers few things like a get current record type. If you're in some particular record, you want to see the record type ID of this record, you can just click on this get current record type. So you can see it's a sales order. In URL it's just sales order. So there are a few ways to get this. Of course, in my other videos I have shown like how you can load this record in XML view, or maybe using extension wherein which you can get the record type. So that's for the record type. Then let's just say get transaction type. Essentially same. This must work with the transaction and custom record, I believe, and this works with only transaction. So of course the get current record type is basically whatever the record in your view mode, you can able to get that record type. For getting transaction type, it is asking me to enter an internal ID. So it means if I choose a journal internal ID, it will able to show what is the record type of journal, and essentially if I load the internal ID of sales order, it will show what is the record type of sales order. So just to go ahead and enter the sales order one. Yep, it ends up showing that particular record type. Then load and save transaction. It essentially just once you enter the internal ID, it will just load that record and then save the transaction. That's essentially it. So these are some function this extension can offer. Again, this extension kind of outdated now, but just maybe if it helps, let me know in the comment. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.